Like on the GTO, it's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. And I can't remember what I've shown. If I showed pressing out the bushings and putting the new ones in, which I hate, or not, but I had to get the lower control arms all ready to go because I am going with the original ones for the lower, and then I already have QA1 tubular control arms for the top because they will change the geometry, and these are sufficient. They're not going to they're actually lighter, maybe not quite as rigid, but I'm going with polyurethane bushings. So sandblasted them, actually water and sandblasted it. A friend of mine who owns it, I went to his house and did that, and then primed them and painted them yesterday along with the axle. This is pour 15 on the axle. So I got to replace the ball joints here, and then I'm ready to put the stinking bushings in, and then I'm ready to start putting the suspension back in. So I also blasted the core support and both wheel wells and my gas tank, and this thing's in really good shape except right there. So a little bit of welding is going to be needed on the inner piece and the outer piece, but everything else is really solid. I don't know what caused the cancer there, but this is how it looks when you sandblast it. It's kind of rough, but when I took a wire wheel to the control arms yesterday, they polished up just like shiny metal. A little rougher, but good tooth for prime. So anyway, let's go in here. And I just wanted to show you, in case one of you is unlucky enough to to take on changing the bushings yourself. Oh, there's not enough room for anything. Anyway, this is the setup that I made. This is just a piece of muffler, a transition type thing, and a piece of steel plate that I bought and cut into a square and then drilled a hole in the middle. Bought a 6-inch bolt, a couple sturdy stout washers, and so this is what I'll use to press the bushing in. So I'll tighten this down once the sleeve is in. I'll tighten this down through the barrel there in the middle, and then on the other side I'll have this guy, or actually probably this one is what I've been using because it fits right over like that. So this was about, well, before I cut it, this thing was together, it was about $3.99 at O'Reilly Auto, and the long bolt with the nut and everything, I don't know, another $3-4. And then that piece of metal, which if you have lying around, you're good, but I didn't, and I bought that for, I don't know, another $10 at the hardware store. So for about, I don't know, $15 or $15-16, I've got a makeshift press. So right now, I already pressed this barrel out, or whatever you call it, this thing, which is where the bolt goes through and tightens down your trailing arm up here. And so what I've been doing is I just set it up like that and then start tightening up that clamp, and it pushes it right out. Oh, first I drill through a bunch in here just to soften this up so it releases a little bit. And then once this is out, I can usually just get under here with a long screwdriver and start prying it up, and it comes out. Then the only thing that's left is 52 years of rust on this thing, or these sleeves, and the control arms were brutal. I hope this is better. So anyway, that's my process. If it saves you some money and helps you see that you can do it, more power to you. Well, I'm back on the GTO and I've made some progress. I got the lower control arms on. That was a bugger. getting those guys in. I know some people struggle with it, but I really struggled. I covered the end there with a towel and put a piece of wood on the end and then smacked it with a 5-pound sledge, and I still had to finesse it into place and did that for a long time. Anyway, got the upper tubular control arms on, and the lower factory ones have urethane bushings now, so even though they're the old geometry, they should feel different. And then tonight, oops, sorry about that. Tonight I did manage to get all this stuff on, just temporarily mocked up here, so that I could, I should say, get the rear axle and diff in there, connect it all, and then I'll be able to figure out where the holes are going to go in the lower control arms there for the sway bar. But I realized that I can't do any of that until the differential's done and the rear axle. So I've been grinding away and sanding away and wire wheeling to myself to death again, and got it down quite a ways. Again, I discovered that there was a lot of rust underneath what the guy had done, so I just kind of went to town. And then this is, I've got to talk fast here because I got to get this stuff off. This is the Pour 15 metal prep, which is changing this all to a phosphate something or other, and you don't want to let it get dry. So it's been on there a while now. I'm actually going to wash it off with water, which is what that's for. And then I'm going to apply the Pour 15, and it'll be shiny. I might have to hit it with some satin after so that it's correct, but it'll be like this. And the Pour 15 is so hard, it's almost like porcelain, which is good, I think, for these parts. So that's where I am. See ya. Okay, this is about hour 8 on the rear diff. First I wire wheeled it and sanded it and scraped it down to pretty close to metal all over. Then I hit it with some Pour 15 metal treatment stuff, and then I painted it with a Pour 15 black, which was a semi-gloss. That's just all I had, but that's not the correct color for the chassis parts. So this is after another couple hours here tonight, cleaning it up, and well, more than a couple, probably 4 hours total tonight, getting the gloss off the semi-gloss, and then painting it with the Rust-Oleum oil-based satin black, which is the right gloss, and it's got a real hard, well, the Pour 15 is a real hard base, and then the satin black Rust-Oleum will should be soft enough to stand up to some rocks and chips and stuff like that, just in case, without chipping off. Might just make little scratches and stuff, but stronger, more brittle paint can kind of chip. So I'm happy with the way it turned out. I mean, it looks pretty much like new, which is what I'm going for with the goat. So that's it for now.
This is just a shot of the suspension. It's pretty much done. Did have to restore this part. Didn't come with a disc brake changeover, so you have to make use of the old one and drill it out a little bit bigger, which is what I was doing here.
Well, I don't know if it looks any different to anybody else, but it sure does to me. Can't remember the last time I showed a video, but the diff was down to metal and bushings changed and everything's back in, and I put the sway bar in the bottom and boxed in the lower control arms so that I could put the bolts through and have some more rigidity. So there's a sway bar there now, and then the coilovers in back. That was, I don't know, last week or maybe a little bit more than that. And then I just now finished putting the all the front stuff in. So I had the coilovers on and the lower control arms and the tubulars and stuff, and then I put the spindles on and tightened those down to spec. And I this is just loose for now. This is a new sway bar in front too. It's a lot thicker than the old one, but it's not tightened down because I don't have any weight on the car. And the steering linkage is also just lightly in place because I got this new box. Same numbers, but different insides, so that it's 2.5 turns lock to lock instead of 4.5, 4.25 from lock to lock, left to right. So anyway, this guy's new, but I don't have the Pitman arm on yet, so I can't really cinch it down tight. So anyway, that's sitting there and it fits and everything. That's what I wanted to see. And then I put the rotor, packed the bushings, packed the wheel bearings and with grease and pounded them in there and put these guys on, and isn't that a thing of beauty? It's happening slowly but surely, and so that's where I am right now.